Okay, this week we're going to talk about online advertising and also traditional style advertising. So, online advertising you might think about is like things, ads that you see on social media, also promoted posts, and so you can think about, take a couple of days at least to think about what you see when you're on social media, what kind of advertising. And again, like I said, some are just promoted posts. And traditional advertising you could think of as like billboards and like you'll see buses and they'll have ads on the back, or we used to do wraps for buses that would go to SeaWorld. That's like a giant ad, makes people think about going to SeaWorld. Um, you can get on, I don't know, I've gotten on blog posts and or looking at the news, and you look at a news article and they'll have the same ad like in it 5 times, which is to me really annoying. I guess it's supposed to be something I'm interested in, but by the time I see it the fifth time, I'm like, I would never buy anything from this company. They're making me crazy. But some of that kind of advertising is just placed advertising. You sign up, or the business signs up to have ads added to their content, and they get paid for whatever sales are generated or if people click on the ads or whatever. So there's a lot of ways that advertising works from both sides. So it's not necessarily related to the content it is in, which is unfortunate because I think sometimes if there was an ad on a post that related to the content, I might be more interested. I guess they try to gear it for what they think is something I would be interested in. Um, but most of the time it doesn't work. Online advertising, a lot of times they'll use videos, sometimes they'll use things like showing you this story about something, like maybe, one the thing that pops into my head is, they'll have some information about pet food and what you should get to help your dog or something like that. And they go on and on and on, and then they don't tell you what it is. And it's like you have to click to find out. So to me, that's like clickbait, but that's advertising too. They're trying to get you to buy something. So that's really what advertising is about, right? They're trying to get you to buy a service or in a product that they have. And I mean, that's what we want to do. We want to sell our stuff. I don't like advertising that tries to coerce you into buying something that you're not interested in. Some advertising is geared that way. I remember ads from when I was a kid, that, like the ads, the jingle they had, like on was, really catchy, and you'd find yourself thinking about it later, or you might think about how funny the ad was, but you might not remember what the product or service was. So that's kind of an ad fail. It was great for the music, great for, the content put together, but it didn't reach the sale because the product or service became less important than the humor and the music that went with the advertising. So, like I said, put some thought into this. We tend to think, online advertising is the only thing happening today, but still, I think some stuff is still geared towards the way traditional advertising was done. It's just a static image, and they're just trying to get your interest. Like I said, when I see an ad in a news article, it's usually what I would think of as traditional style advertising. If I'm driving, like we used to drive up to Washington all the time to help my father-in-law, and it was a 2-day trip, so you'd see a lot of billboards, and they'd be advertising things that are local, like restaurants that are coming up, or the next gas station is the last gas for the next 150 miles, or, one I remember was you could get beef or all kinds of jerky at this place, and they had several in a row. You'd be driving along, okay, now it's only 20 miles to this place, now it's only 10 miles to this great jerky shop. And we did stop a few times because that was kind of fun advertising, and it's localized, so it's something that you can do or get response to right away. The one thing that's cool about online advertising, and you have that, you see it, you like it, click it, you buy it. So it's very instantaneous. Static marketing is more you see it and you have to do another step like call or go somewhere to get something. So there's a little disconnect there. So like I said, I want you to think about advertising you see, and then write me a post. I have the details um, on the written part of the thing. I want you to, kind of compare online marketing or advertising and traditional advertising, but also, think about which ads make a big impact on you, which ones you're responding to, why, and think about why. Why does that make you want to buy their product or not buy it? Those are the things I want you to tell me about.